time of the year. Get down, 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 get down. Hey everyone, my name is Rosalind Sterling. I'm an adult crime comedy writer, and it's Pride Month. I wanted to get this video out before the month officially ended because a lot's been going on and hadn't really had time to do this. This is the second time I filmed this because, you know, my luck would have it, it didn't work out the first time. But because it's Pride Month, I feel like it's appropriate to mention that I am a demi-bi-romantic asexual. My pronouns are she, her, he, him, and they, them. I'm gender fluid, and I identify as a menace to society. Hey, it's Editing Me, and I just wanted to mention that the day this came out, a lot of like shit's been happening with the government and like Roe versus Wade and everything. I know that this will probably affect a lot of people in the queer and trans community, but for the most part, I just want to keep this video happy. I want to celebrate Pride Month and not be too, you know, consumed by anger about all this. But again, I don't want to also ignore these issues because these are real issues that will affect real people, and so because of that, I will be linking in the description links to just hotlines, resources, links to like donations, petitions, stuff like that, anything that can help people in this community. I just survive, I guess, really. It's kind of sad to say, but yeah, I will link all that down below. So if you're in like a really not good position right now, if maybe you're not in a good place in life, there will be, you know, hotlines and whatnot to contact. And I know that I don't have a huge following, and I know that probably not a lot of people will see this, but I feel like it's still important to mention that, you know, that will be there for you in case you do need help, because if I can even help just one person by giving them links to the right resources, then that would be great. Anyways, yeah, back to the video. Also, featuring me and my new gay themed binder that my wonderful boyfriend bought me because he's super fucking supportive. Thank you, I love you. I don't think it's actually a binder, I think it's a binder bra, so it doesn't do the full job of a binder, but it sure as hell hurts like a binder. Holy hell, it is. My ribs. Oh god, my ribs. It's nice, I put all my little pride pins and everything, so yes, I've been ossified, I'm ready. And just generally, there is no direction for this. I just wanted to include a speed paint of, or speed draw, whatever, of the pride drawing that I posted to my Instagram page, and just talk about writing queer shit and how being queer and trans has affected me as a writer and how it's affected my stories. You really think I went into this with a concrete plan? You thought wrong. And for some added spice, I added an axolotl and a bee because there's nothing gay to whatever the fuck these things are. And so before I get into anything official, I just want to mention that this is a time of love and acceptance. I will be mentioning some stuff later in the video, just again as my journey as a queer and trans person. I don't want to get too negative about things because again, it's a time of love. I know that, you know, queer and trans issues should not be ignored. Obviously, we're only 6 months into the year and there's already been like what, 200 laws made against trans people, but not that I'm trying to ignore these issues or pretend they don't exist. I just want to focus on happiness because that's what this month is about. But with that out of the way, just remember that, you know, you are loved, you are valid. If you're a Christian, then God loves you. If you're not Christian, then whatever higher being you believe in loves you, or if you're an atheist, then please come here. Come here. Then my dog loves you, and no matter what you believe in, there's no love more validating than the love of a dog. And if you think otherwise, you can fucking fight me. Say that I went to my first Pride Parade this year. That was so fun. Oh my god, I've never felt so loved and validated in my entire fucking life. Especially considering the background I came from. But yeah, I went to the Cleveland Pride Parade. I live in Ohio. Shut the fuck up. I've always wanted to go to Pride Parade. I've been celebrating Pride since I first came out to myself as asexual when I was like 14. I first came out as demisexual. It's been this very long journey since then. But please stop harassing the bee. But it was just so amazing. Oh my god. I mean, just for the first time in my life, you know, I mean, I celebrate Pride online, I celebrate it privately, but considering I was living in a very homophobic and transphobic household up until 6 months ago, this is the first time I've actually got to like just express who I was publicly. I got to, you know, wear my pride flags. I got to go with my partner, which was amazing. You know, just being around such amazing, supportive people Now, and oh, and there was all these vendors at the Pride Parade because, of course, companies love to mooch off of the queer community, which, not cool, but at least there are some that do genuinely support us. But because there were a lot of vendors there, there was, you know, a lot of just little free samples and stuff like that, you know, so we did get a few things. Just a few things, good spinner, because that's definitely cool, right? Gay sunglasses. My boyfriend got a gay fanny pack. Yeah, overall it was just a really positive experience, and there was at one point, because I was looking, I'm like, where are the protesters? Where are they? Because I had a feeling, like, I grew up in a Christian home, I grew up with conservatives. Okay, this is nothing against you being Christian, as long as you're not, like, homophobic or a fucking bitch, then that's fine, I don't care what the fuck you believe in, but, you know, I'm just like, I've grown up with these people, I know how they think. Where are they? I know they're here. And I was looking, couldn't find anyone for a very long time until finally, you know, someone did show up, and it was simultaneously the most infuriating but empowering thing I've ever witnessed, because for the first time I got to actually yell at these people, you know, like I spent years of my life yelling at like my mom for being a homophobe, right? But it's when you talk to these people, it's like a brick wall, you know. And again, I want to keep this video positive, I don't want to go into, you know, too much detail on that, but that was honestly really fun. It was just being able to finally just get your mind, you know, be able to say what's on my mind. We got to, like, we surrounded this guy with, like, pride flags, and I know that he's doing it for attention. I actually talked to this really nice guy that was there saying that this pastor comes there, like, every year to, like, to, like, film, film these protests and to make money off of it on YouTube and whatnot. So that's really sad. We really shouldn't have given the time of day, but it was nice to just finally, you know, yell at people like that. We all got to hold this pride flag behind him. Oh, and like, speaking of like homophobic households and all that, my mom was probably watching this because she fucking stalked her and everything, even though I blocked her. And the only reason I even keep contact with her is the fact that it's so entertaining to see these like long ass messages come into my phone. Like last time she saw my last video and she heard me say fuck, and she was like she had like one of her little Christian meltdowns. Yeah, so this is I'm waiting for the text message, and this is going to be interesting. Yeah, but it's so nice, like, not having to live there, not have to deal with her. I don't have to deal with her screaming. I don't have to deal with her shit. I think I'm finally on my own. You know, I'm finally living a life where I'm actually happy. Things aren't perfect. Things are still sort of shit, but, you know, I'm doing a lot better mentally. I'm in a much better state of mind, and I'm a lot happier, and I can finally freely express myself and my gender and my sexuality and not have to worry about her, you know? So who gives a shit if she sees us or not? Who gives a shit if anyone who doesn't like me sees us? People aren't gonna like you, people aren't gonna like me. Not everyone's gonna like me, and I just have to deal with that, because I don't like them back, so I guess we're even. Oh, actually, speaking of my mother, I got a pin the other day, or not the other day, it was actually a few weeks ago at this point, but I went to a furry con, shut the fuck up, and I got this nice little pin that reminded me of her. I thought I'd show it. Yeah, see? Sums up our relationship pretty well. Dakota, for the love of God, please. Please. Okay, you do this now of all things. You do this. Anyways, now to just talk about, I guess writing. Again, I have no like clear direction where this is going. I just want to talk about, you know, just my life and being a queer person. When it comes to writing, I'm sure I'll have like the speed paint going up here somewhere. You know, I'll also do videos from like the Pride Parade if I can, but I'll mostly have videos of like the speed paint. But yeah, I had a lot of fun drawing this. I think I improved a lot from last year. And just generally, like, as a queer writer and artist, I do want to make sure I'm representing everyone correctly, so I'm trying to make sure that I use, like, all the updated flags and whatnot, but I do want to mention that this story takes place in 2005, before a lot of these terms and flags were actually created. So, like, the MLM flag that I used for Nathan and his boyfriend, that didn't exist back in 2005. I think I don't believe so. Back then, the rainbow flag wasn't just a general, you know, LGBTQ representation flag. It was, like, a gay flag at the time. So, it's not, so this drawing isn't completely time accurate, but I did that just out of respect to, you know, the queer community and the trans community, because I want to stay updated with the, you know, proper terms and flags and symbols and all that. So it's not time accurate, but I just want to be respectful. And yeah, and just like as a queer writer, and author, artist, whatever, like discovering myself, my sexuality, especially because I have like a lot of labels, as mentioned before. I have like I have like 4 labels or something, and it took me many years to get to this point. I feel like, and I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, but I feel like your characters sort of come out to you. At least they did for me. I've seen other people talk about this, so I don't think I'm alone on it. But it sort of feels like your characters like come out to you at their own time. Like, for example, with Nathan, I remember like for the longest time, this is back when I was still like growing up in a very like heteronormative, cis-normative, whatever environment, so all my characters were kind of just cis straight by default. Not that I didn't want diversity, it's the fact that I quite literally didn't understand anything about gender or sexuality. But there was something with Nathan that was always like off-putting. Like, I always wrote him as this sort of like macho guy who's like always like flirting with women, right? Like, that's how he was during like the first couple years of me developing him as a character, right? Especially like during his like high school and college years. That's kind of like how I saw him, but it didn't feel right, it didn't feel natural, and it felt so much like he was forcing himself to act that way. And so after I started to like, you know, educate myself more on sexuality, I started thinking like, oh, what if he's like bisexual and he's actually just like pretending to like women, like he likes women but like he's not really super into them just because like he doesn't want people to know like he's bisexual, right? And then as like time went on and I went like along with that like headcanon, I guess, it still wasn't working. I looked at this man in my head and I was like, sir, there is nothing straight about you. Completely gay. I couldn't see him being with any women at all. It felt like even if he did do this in high school or college, like, you know, flirt with women, it felt like he was doing it just so people wouldn't suspect that he was gay because he was too embarrassed about it. But he did actually have a boyfriend in high school, and that ties into a lot of plot-related stuff in the trilogy that I won't go into because it's really long and really complicated, and also goes into spoiler territory. But that's sort of how it was for all my characters. Hell, even with Jonathan, when I first came out as demisexual, I made him demisexual. And when I came out as asexual, I made him asexual. Because in all ways, shapes, and forms, he's sort of like my alter ego, and not like a cringy self-insert type thing. We're still completely different, but I just see him as like a alternate version of like me, or like who I want to be. And I just use him as a way to represent myself and my feelings. All of my thoughts and feelings and morals and everything just kind of have been poured into this character, and that's why he means so much to me. But yeah, so that's kind of like his sexuality just developed completely alongside mine, and that's just how it was with all my characters. They just slowly started to come out to me depending on the situation and whatnot, and I just went with whatever felt right and natural for them. And it was just a really fun process. I'm still figuring out a lot of things about my characters. You know, I feel like my brain, unfortunately, goes to like the automatic, like straight white cisgender default. And not that I want to do that on purpose, it's just the way I was brought up. That's like just the default. You're not allowed to be anything outside of that. And so whenever I get a character idea that falls under that default, I immediately start searching my brain. And I start using like my creative side, trying to think, okay, but who is this person actually? What is their race? What is their gender? What is their sexuality? And I start to slowly learn more about this character the more I explore it in my mind. And it's just a really fun process. I think as someone who spent so long in such a, you know, bigoted environment growing up, and someone who's spent many years trying to figure myself out and who has struggled with that, it's a very long and complicated process, and I want people to feel represented in my stories. I want to try to represent as many genders and sexualities as I can. I want people to feel like, you know, they're seen and they're loved, because they are. And, you know, a lot of my experiences have been put into my stories. Something recently, actually, that I've been planning on doing more in my trilogies. The fact that, again, it takes place in 2005, and I think it's more as progressive like I do right now. And just going over, like, beta reader feedback and, you know, going over, like, you know, I guess just general logic. And now, as much as I want to live in a super progressive environment, it wasn't like that back then. And I want to find a way to kind of incorporate the struggles of queer and trans people into my story in a way that doesn't like bring down the experience. I don't want people to think I'm only speaking of them negatively, but I do want to make these issues come to light. I guess I want people to, you know, at least, I guess, sort of understand that these are things people struggle with, especially back then. And it's something that I'm going to be incorporating more into my trilogy as I do more research on that time era and whatnot. So, not a fun thing to write about, but something that I do want to make people more aware of, because I understand the struggles and I understand how hard they really can be. Ayo, editing me jumping in here again because my dumbass forgot to add an outro. With all that being said, I'm pretty much done with this video. I had a lot of fun drawing this. It's pretty much a redraw of a pride drawing that I did last year. I will try to include the photo of it. But yeah, I'm really happy with how much I've improved and how much more diversity I have since added into my story since then. I'm probably going to conclude this video with a video I took of a wonderful singer that was at the Pride Parade singing Survivor, because I honestly think that that's a song that we all need to hear right now, especially with the state that the world is in. But it was so beautiful. There was a lot of people from, I forget the name of it, but there was a lot of people from a gay black beauty pageant, I believe. I forget the name of it, but again, there was a lot of guests from things like that, and it was just really cool to see all the diversity and the beautiful people that were there performing, and also the people, of course, in the audience. There was just so much diversity there, and it just made me so happy to see. I had the absolute bestest time at Pride. I've never felt so happy and comfortable and safe in my entire life, and it was an experience that I will always remember, and an experience that I want to feel again. I want to go back to more. I want to go to more Pride parades and Pride events and just be with people who I can relate to and feel comfortable with. I hope everyone has a wonderful Pride Month. Again, you are loved, you are valid, and I hope that everyone, no matter if you are a writer or an artist or just anyone in the queer, just anyone who's in the queer trans community that is a creator, I just keep doing what you're doing, keep doing what you love. You are so talented. I just love seeing all the creative pieces done by such diverse people. You all have such great ideas, and I love it, and I want to see more of it. So yeah, that's basically it. Again, happy Pride Month.
I just walked in to find you here with that bad look on your